Welcome to the Super Show, the Catholic Answers Live Super Show. We do it twice a week right now. Maybe we'll grow it. Maybe it'll get bigger and bigger, and someday it'll be so big that Daily Wire will want it. Sorry, just kidding. That's not really going to happen. But we're building the Daily Show. Oh, what?
My fault. Sorry.
No, I'm not mad. Was that me coming back through?
That
again?
was you coming through.
I always love it when it happens because then I know how long the delay is. Like it's just so interesting. Like you're right there, but this is I don't know if you know how this works, but it goes in the microphone.
Is that how it goes?
Goes through a bunch of machines. They bounce it off the sun. Mm-hmm. It comes back to the earth, back into the underground, through a bunch of machines, and comes back out.
I think you need to refine.
Now I know that was very technical. I know that was very technical, but that's how it works. I'm Cy Kellet, the host of Catholic Answers Live, and I think I'm the host of this show. I don't know. He hasn't told me yet whether I am the host or the co-host or the guest or what. But here with me is the producer of Catholic Answers Live.
And the assistant host.
And the assistant to the host.
The assistant host of the show.
Edgar Lueno. Edgar, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be the assistant host, and that is not how you pronounce my name. Thank you.
What are we going to talk about today? I got so many things I want to talk about. So much is happening.
Okay.
So much is happening.
There's a lot going on right now, and it's the crisis of a century that, do you want to get into the MTV thing right away?
Yes, I do, because I believe, a junior in high school when MTV started. I might have been a sophomore, but I think I was a junior in high school when MTV started.
Let's actually introduce the other person that's joining us today before we get into the MTV.
Am I the host or am I the assistant host? Just say now what it is.
I'm assisting the host right now.
Because I was going to bring her in once we started talking about it, man. I had a whole plan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was going to be good. And then
you should have said something before the show.
If you're the host, do you have to say something, or can you just do what you were planning? Or what is?
All right, go right ahead.
What is my role? Just tell me.
You are the host.
I am?
You are the host. Congratulations.
All right. I'm going to need that in writing.
Okay.
We got a really good colleague here that relatively new, not brand new, but relatively new colleague. I just found out where she lives. I swear all this time I thought she was like up in Northern California somewhere. I don't even know where I got that. Emily, welcome. Will people see Emily or not? Oh, there she is. Woo! Side by side.
Hi.
Hey, Emily. Welcome. Thanks for being on with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Cy.
Did you ever live in Northern California or up that way? Or?
I lived in Southern California.
Yeah, I knew that part because you talk like a Southern Californian.
Yeah, I do. I have that Valley girl accent.
You have something. Is that what it is? Because, but were you in the Valley? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Riverside.
Oh, in Riverside.
So yeah, like an hour and a half from you guys.
Because I think Donna Barrick grew up in the Valley. I'm not sure, but you guys sound very much alike. You have the same kind of. There's a certain drawing out of some of the vowels that Southern Californians do. You're a NorCal guy.
I'm a NorCal guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hecka cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We have our own slang up there too. And then there's that other side of the Bay Area that we don't like.
What's the main freeway that goes through your town?
It's Highway 99.
See that? What would we say in the South? We would say the 99. And you guys don't say that.
I adopted it when I moved down here.
Emily, I'm super happy that you're here with us. You do amazing work. One of the things that you do is you defend life. You have conversations with people about abortion and the options and the morals of all of that. How'd you start doing that?
I just got online and I don't know. I think it was in my free time. I just enjoyed conversing with people. And also, I mean, the bad part of me wants to say I enjoy being right. So I enjoy debating with other people. But, the virtuous side of me wants to say, I want people to know the truth, and I want abortion to end because it's so evil. So,
yeah. It's better to enjoy doing right than being right. This is one of those ones where doing is better than being, but you are doing right when you're defending life. And do you ever come up against arguments where you're like, let me get back to you on that one? Or is it all, at this point, you basically heard the arguments for the pro-choice side and you can handle them?
I would say I've basically heard so many, like the variety of the pro-choice. You can kind of group them up into main categories, like the people that are just at any point in pregnancy, abortion's okay, or once, some arbitrary characteristic, a heartbeat or sentience or consciousness or whatever. And then you have people that are like, yeah, it's morally wrong, but legally, who are we to ban it just because of our own personal morals? So I would say I kind of have gotten the swing of their views typically. I would say the weirdest part is sometimes when you get in the weeds with all these other random scenarios that they want to talk about because abortion involves so many other like tangentially related issues.
Yeah, right. So they
You
want to talk
know?
about poverty, or they want to talk about the World Bank or something, but anything except talk about the actual act of the taking of the child's life.
Exactly. Or like even euthanasia, like
Oh
end
yeah.
of life care gets brought up. So
So
yeah,
you're pro
you can
euthanasia
just
or against? Where do you come down on that?
oh, definitely against.
Good for
Don't
you.
even
Because
test
this was
me.
going to be a short stint on the Super Show if you said, I'm totally for euthanasia. All right. So this is what I thought would, this interests me. MTV is dying, and you, Edgar, Lueno, and I are three different ages, three different relationships with MTV.
We are?
I thought,
yeah.
yeah, we're completely three different. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably, actually, I'm quite a bit older than Edgar, and Edgar's a bit older than you. But Edgar looked like he was going to laugh in my face when I said MTV started when I was a junior in high school. He looked like he was going to go, bah! But
I would have said it probably started when you were a middle-aged man, weren't?
really, a middle-aged
No,
man?
No, but I don't know. I want to know, Emily, what was on MTV when you were, I guess, a teenager? Did you ever click it on?
Do you even
Did
know
you even
what was-
click
Oh,
it on?
So it was definitely before I was a teenager. This was when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old watching TV, and I'm on Nickelodeon or Disney or whatever. And then I would sometimes stumble across the MTV show or whatever. I mean, when I think MTV, I think My Crib. This is My Crib, and they do like the walkthrough. I think
MTV
of like the
Cribs.
music videos, and I also think of like the weird paparazzi, like hot gossip with celebrities. But I never was super big on MTV. Like it wasn't something I consumed a lot because I was so young. So it just didn't interest me.
What about you? Tell me about your experience with MTV.
It was the height of reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
So
Was that Jersey Shore, or was that a different
No,
thing?
no. Jersey Shore, I think, was slightly after. I never watched Jersey
But
Shore.
that was MTV, though, right?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
But it was The Real World was on. Do you remember The Real World?
I
No.
never saw the Real World.
So there's
No.
the Real World.
Look
and
at that. She's too young for it, and I'm too old for it.
And then there's another show that became quite infamous, which I'm not going to repeat, but it's another name for the word donkey. They had their show on MTV, their debut,
Jack Donkey?
Jack Donkey. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So Emily, do you remember that show or no?
Oh, that's a show? I thought that was a movie.
Exactly.
Oh, isn't that
Exactly.
funny? Yeah.
They came out with their movie years after, but I remember. Oh gosh, I was way too young to watch this stuff, but I think I was in 5th grade when I started watching MTV, and it's these people that just do dumb things.
Well, how old do you think you were when you stopped watching MTV, people doing dumb things? How old do you think you were? Because
I think at 16.
see, this is my theory about MTV. The reason it has stayed juvenile is they just go on to the next set of
Yeah.
juveniles. Like the MTV never grew up. It's just juvenile nonsense. When I was a kid, if I may say this, Emily, this is so long ago compared, relative to your lifespan. But all right, here's the weird thing. When I was a kid, we did not have cable TV. Nobody had cable TV. Well, no, I should take that back. My grandmother on Cape Cod had cable TV because you couldn't get the broadcast TV from Boston. They ran a cable down the middle of Cape Cod, and everybody just plugged into that cable. I don't know, it was like one cable, we all plugged into it. So we were amazed at cable TV when it was on the Cape. We were like, you don't have to have an antenna on the roof? Like, that's how long ago I was a child. So cable TV came first, and then HBO was the thing, and HBO had a thing called Pop Clips. Do either of you know anything about this, or is this
No idea.
Emily's not even awake anymore. Not only does she not know, but she's like, I think I fell asleep when you talked about George Washington.
She thinks you're going through a history book right now. That's what you're doing.
So I remember I saw James Taylor, a pop clip on MTV, and that was the first music video I had ever seen. Not on MTV, on HBO. Later, MTV started, and it really was a revolution for our generation. But, all right, Emily, maybe you shouldn't listen to this part, but as teenage boys, the main, I don't know if it was the main appeal, but a significant appeal of MTV was the scantily clad women, because we didn't grow up in a internet environment. You know, we didn't grow up in all that. So boys watched MTV because these bands had Heather Locklear on there. You don't even know who
I
Heather
have
Locklear is.
no idea.
I did. I've been to a James Taylor concert.
Oh my
so
gosh,
I can't
that's what
say I
she
know
got
who
out of
he
all
is.
of this. Out of all of this.
But
So I think
Heather-
it was smut TV in a lot of ways. It was that's what it was in its early years. And you know, whether it was ZZ Top or whoever,
It was mainly music videos, wasn't it?
it was music videos, but there was a particular reason that you were watching the music videos, and not all of it had to do. I mean, some of it had to do with the music, but for teenage boys, it was the. I don't even know what they have today. Today, it's so far beyond that. So in a weird way, it kind of like was a time of. We weren't living in a time of innocence in the 70s, but it was like we were this far down the slope, and then MTV came. We just fell off the slope as far as that kind of just base level, you know, sexualized content went. There was no other. It was just like where you're watching a movie and there's attractive people in it. No, it was like the only reason why this girl is in this video is because they want teenage boys to watch this over and over and over again.
And they continued to appeal to teenage boys, and they came out with this show, Jack Donkey.
Jack Donkey, yeah,
which,
right.
Which is literally just a bunch of boys being boys in the dumbest of ways. I think so. There's a guy on there. Do any of you know who Steve-O is?
I know who Steve-O is. He
She's
went on to
shaking
make
her head. She doesn't
he went
know
on to
Steve-O's.
make legitimate movies too, though, right?
No,
He became-
I don't think so. So
maybe I have the wrong guy.
He has a podcast now, and a lot of these guys have podcasts now. But I still remember he was featured on the second episode of Jack Donkey, and what they do is they just do dumb stunts. His stunt,
But they get hurt.
A lot of times they get hurt, and his stunt was swallowing a goldfish and regurgitating it and making sure that it's still alive.
No.
And that was his audition. This was his audition, and they recorded it, and they ended up using it. And that was his very first his debut appearance on Jack Donkey, and this is the stuff that dumb boys would come up with. It's like, why would you even think about swallowing a goldfish and then regurgitating it?
And putting it on TV, putting it like,
Yeah, exactly.
like there's executives, or there's, you know, like this
Yep.
is weird that this is like the stock is being traded on in the boardrooms of America, but it's basically based on appealing to the lowest common denominator, and that's what it was when it began. That's what it was in its middle years. And then by the time it got to you, Emily, it was
it was fizzling out.
It was fizzling out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any place for it anymore, because in part, will people be like, oh, because the music industry has changed so much. It's not just because the whole media industry has changed, and teenage boys are off somewhere else. They're off, they're playing their first person shooters or whatever.
I really
Yes,
think,
I said first person shooter.
I really do
did.
think YouTube killed a lot of this.
You think YouTube did it?
I think YouTube killed. First of all, I think it killed off cable, because now a lot of people watch YouTube on TV, and then streaming services came along, and that became the big hype, and then YouTube continued to grow. YouTube TV happened. So
But I would say MTV to me is the perfect exemplar of utterly vapid media. Just empty calories, just worthless. Like
Yep.
not even like the Discovery Channel, where every now and then between the alien shows, you'll get something on the Roman Empire
Ancient
or
aliens.
Cleopatra. Like nothing of value happened there. Nothing of value, and it's just this. The media is about the stimulation of the lower appetites, and that's ultimately what it's about. and MTV was really good at it for its moment. But people found they could get their lower appetites stimulated other places, and it's irrelevant now. What do you think of that, Emily? No?
Yeah, I agree. I think social media really changed the game too. People aren't just bored. I mean, they are bored, but instead of turning on the TV to kind of entertain themselves, they can just go on their phone. They can look up whatever celebrity they want on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and check in on there. They don't need to tune into a TV show to get the latest like paparazzi gossip on the celebrity, because they can just find a bunch of posts about it online somewhere. So I don't think I think its need has been filled with a lot of other more accessible materials.
And now we've got artificial intelligence. Do you use ChatGPT, Emily?
Oh, yeah.
You do? I'm in love with ChatGPT. But how do you feel about Chat? Oh, you used it this morning, didn't you?
I used it this morning.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
I remember in a meeting.
It blows my mind how quickly it's growing and how quickly it's developing. I was on the ChatGPT site and I just decided to, just browse around the site itself. And it's more than just here's a bar, ask your question or type in whatever you want. There are so many tools on there.
Oh, see, I haven't done that. I'm in love with it, and I haven't even done that.
From like writing, helping you write, to just all sorts of stuff, including images, and videos, which at some point I'm going to have you react to some of the wildest ChatGPT generated videos.
Is Emily going to respond to? Does she already know them?
Not yet. No. But this will be on a different day. I have some other content that I'm going to have you react to later.
Is Emily going to get to react too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She'll go to react.
That's good. The thing I do with ChatGPT, I wonder if I just have I type, tell me about, and then I put in anything I want to know. Like, tell me about Napoleon and Josephine. Tell me about how the stock market works. Tell me anything I want to know. And it gives you a beautiful tutorial on whatever. You can learn anything.
About the mythical Pope Leo?
Well, that I don't know if you know about that, Emily.
I don't.
I tried to get it to talk to me about Pope Leo, and it panicked. This was in the summer. I think it might have been maybe July. And I took screenshots of it so that people would know this actually happened. I didn't make this up. So I don't have my phone in here with me, but I could read them to you sometime. It said to me, I asked it a question about Pope Leo the 14th, and it started to answer the question, and then it said, of course, there is no Pope Leo the 14th. Pope Francis is still the Pope. And this is in July. And I was like, no, actually, Pope Francis died. Pope Leo the 14th is the Pope. And then ChatGPT was like, kind of like, okay, I'll play along with you on this, even though in the real world, Francis is still the Pope. And like he wouldn't, or she, I don't know, that it would not let go of Pope Francis. It wouldn't let him die. And it was just weird. It was a weird kind of thing.
That's
and it was
so
almost
funny.
like it split itself for a moment into two timelines. The one that it believed, which was Francis is still alive. So I got the date of the election of Pope Leo, and I said, what happened on this date at the Vatican? And it was like, well, in the timeline you're talking about. And I was like, what? What? Like it
knows something we don't.
Yeah.
It revealed the multiverse is what it did.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it accidentally dipped into the multiverse. But it thought it, I think what it was doing was, you know how they hallucinate sometimes? I bet they put some kind of guardrail in there that didn't work. That probably is gone now. They've probably fixed it by now. In which it told the computer, if you think, or the ChatGPT, if you think you're hallucinating, tell the person that that's not real, and say, I'm sorry, but that's not. And so it kept thinking that it was hallucinating, and it was. That's the only way I can make sense. It's either that or there's a multiverse. I don't know. It's one of those two. Are we going to talk about Matt Fradd at all or no?
Do you want to talk about Fradd? Let's talk about Matt Fradd.
I do want to talk. Do you know what happened to Matt Fradd?
I sort of do. I heard the news through the pipeline, but I didn't look at his actual video or whatever he posted.
Wait, what is the pipeline for you? Like, what does that mean?
The pipeline is
who do you talk to?
Erica. Erica, my coworker, told me that he signed a contract with Daily Wire.
Yes.
And that was the extent of it.
And that's what Edgar told me at the meeting this morning. And
I'm halfway through the video. I don't know the details. So all I know is that he got a contract with Daily Wire, which is kind of cool because we just had Michael Knowles on the show yesterday.
that was I didn't know what to expect from Michael Knowles on our show.
Is that why during the 5-minute break he offered you a job? Was that
No,
what
I
happened?
offered him a job. Don't you remember? I asked him if he wanted to work with us because he was good. I thought Michael Knowles was an absolutely delightful person. I just thought he couldn't have done better. So here's the deal, though. So I went on. There's a thing called Reddit. Is this a good thing or a bad thing, Reddit? I don't know what I'm supposed to feel about Reddit. You guys know.
It depends. There can be a lot of trash, but if you are a virtuous human being, you can find the proper threads. But most people don't have enough virtue in their lives.
Well, all I did was I typed into the search bar something about Matt Fradd going to Daily Wire, and one of the things came up about it just was people talking about Matt Fradd going to the Daily Wire. So I clicked on it. Are people really negative, or are they just negative about this? Because nobody wanted to say anything nice about Matt Fradd going to the Daily Wire. Everybody was fussing and complaining about it.
I was reading the comments on the YouTube channel. People were very, very negative about it. I understand Daily Wire has its leanings, obviously very, very conservative. But I've watched the Daily Wire since they first started. Back in 2015 is when Ben Shapiro and Andrew Klavan started their podcasts on there. So I followed them from the very beginning, and their growth is pretty stunning. And the cool thing is, if you have opposing opinions from the main people, that's okay. Like you can.
Oh, it's not. You don't all have to agree like you do on MSNBC,
exactly.
where everybody has to agree.
So part of what Matt was talking about on his show is they told him he can have full creative control, and he said that he constantly pushed it, saying, "I want to make sure you guys know that I have full creative control, or if not, this is not going to work." And to me, it made sense that he was pushing for that, and at the same time that they were agreeing with it, because you also have to remember there's also another person on there who's not a conservative, who also is funded by Daily Wire, and that's Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has a show on the Daily Wire, and he works with them.
He's not even an American.
He's not.
Oh, wait, Matt Fradd's not an American either. Sorry, my bad.
They're going international, right?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So is Matt Fradd's show now, like Pints of Aquinas, is going to be
is a part of
Daily Wire?
But it's still going to be called Pints of Aquinas.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I don't see the problem with that. I think people honestly are just very anti certain demographic of individuals that are part of Daily Wire, and I think that they're mad that they're going to be working in tandem with each other.
Well, two things I noticed, and you two will have to help me out with this. One part of the negativity was Matt's show was great when it was a Catholic show, but now it's conservative talk radio or conservative podcast or whatever. And I don't know that may be the case.
Nope.
But so maybe it's not the case.
No,
I'm legitimately saying I don't know, because I watch anybody's videos. I watch them selectively. Somebody says you got to watch this episode. I don't watch anybody's video. I'm just a terribly disorganized person. So what I see of Matt Fradd, I always am happy that he's there. I'm always happy that he's asking the questions that he's asking, having the conversations that he's having. And I feel like, okay, one of our guys moved into mainstream media, maybe just let him go. Like we fuss about, there's no cat. Let him go and try it. Like maybe let's go, hey, that's great. Like I remember when one of our guys was the #1 podcast on the planet Earth. And now, admittedly, that was a very, very religious podcast, but that was like such an eye opener. It was like, hey, it was, I don't know. It was like in that Batman movie when he climbs out of the cave. You're like, hey, one made it. You know.
Well, he's going to continue to produce solidly Catholic content, and
I hope he does.
Well, I'm in the middle of the middle of the video, but that's exactly what he's saying. He's staying faithful to the Catholic faith, as of course he is. Why wouldn't he? And it sounds like what they want to do is they want to continue to they want to help him grow his message, which is proclaiming Jesus. And how could you be upset at that? Why would you be upset at that? One of the conversations that I've had with a lot of the content creators that have been through these doors is, how do we get our guys, our Catholic brothers and sisters, to be on par with a lot of these Christians and these Christians in the secular world and Christians in the Christian world. So people like Ruslan, who are major, or George Janko, who are major Christian figures right now in the Protestant world. Where are the Catholic guys? Where are the Catholic guys that are in that stream? We have Trent Horn, but now we have Matt Fradd in a secular organization that's promoting Catholicism. I mean,
Yeah.
how
Also,
awesome
Jimmy
is
Akin
that?
in his own way. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy cuts his own path,
Yeah.
you know. But I feel that way. I feel like there's a kind of now. I do understand that some people. I don't think you're moving up in the world if you move from talking about the faith to talking about politics. As far as the values of the actual real value of things, you're moving down when you talk about politics. And maybe Matt has done that. I really don't know. But wouldn't it be great if we had a really solidly Catholic guy talking about politics? Like, I'm not like, why resent him for taking his faith out into the world? Yeah. Why do that? Okay, so that was the first thing. Was like, oh, he's just a conservative commentator. You know how I feel about the word commentator. But the second thing was Jew. People did not like that Ben Shapiro is a Jew, and to that, I feel like just sit down. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to say that word, but shut your dear beloved mouth. Like, what are you doing? Like,
where's your Christian charity?
Or where's just your ability to work with other people? Yeah. Like, have the basic common decency to go. Is that the demographic you were talking about, Emily?
Oh yeah,
Jews?
That's what I was in reference to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people are very anti-Israel, anti-Jew in some of the groups in the Catholic world, and so yeah, they see this as like a betrayal to his Catholicism by partnering with an organization that's maybe infiltrated, quote unquote, by Jews.
Which is hilarious because I think the largest demographic is Catholics within the Daily Wire. I think there's
exactly.
I think because Matt Walsh is a Catholic, Michael Knowles is Catholic,
Isabel Brown, their new host, and now it's Matt Fradd.
Now Matt Fradd.
And what about all the people in the background, all the producers and the people doing all the background work? From what I heard, it's largely Catholic. And one of their former hosts as well, Brett Cooper, she's Catholic as well. So there's a large Catholic presence there. Now, is it the problem that there's simply two ethnically Jewish men who are the face of the part of the face of the company, Andrew Klavan and Ben Shapiro? Is that the problem? Can Catholics not work with them simply because they're ethnically Jewish and one of them is a religious Jew?
No, well, certainly for some people, I imagine that's the case, and I do think we don't always know what our own prejudices are. So we often we have the prejudice, which is here,
yeah,
and then we have the justification, which is up here. And so the justification is sometimes there is a justifying of anti-Semitism because Israel does all these bad things. But the way you said it, Emily, I wonder how you feel about it, but you said two different things. You said anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, or maybe you said anti-Semitic. I don't know, but you saw those as two different things. I don't think they are the same thing. And there's this anti-Jewishness, and then I think people who are, like, I know really, really good Catholics who are horrified by what Israel has done in Gaza, including the destruction of Christian churches, Catholic churches. And they really want to speak up against Israel. They're not anti-Semites. That's a legitimate concern. I mean, you can't judge someone's heart, but they're not showing any evidence of being anti-Semites. They just are horrified by the viciousness of this war. And now, of course, there's the other side of the story as well and all that, and I'm fine. But I'm just saying, I don't think it disqualifies you as a Catholic to be very, very critical of Israel. That's just a political thing.
Totally. No, but I think the distinction, though, is when you put what Israel's done on a Jew, and you're like, I don't want to even be associated with you because you support Israel, and Israel did all this horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Like I'm like everything Francisco Franco did, all of us Catholics are guilty of.
Not only that. So us having Michael Knowles on the show yesterday associates us with the Daily Wire in one way or the other. So call screening, I screened out a couple callers who wanted to get into the politics of things, and I didn't let them through. And it just immediately went to just constant bashing. And it eventually turned a little bit into bringing Israel up, but we're Catholic. We're talking about Catholic things. I'm not going to let somebody on the air who's not going to talk about
Oh,
Catholicism.
they wanted to bash Michael Knowles.
Yeah, so it started
for Ben Shapiro's position about another
exactly.
country.
So it started off with one thing. It started off with one thing, and then it jumped to the next, and then before you know it, the daisy chain connected us somehow to Ben Shapiro's position on Israel, and it's like that's not what Catholic Answers does. We do apologetics. We defend the Catholic faith. We're not. Just because we're friendly with someone doesn't mean we necessarily agree with all of their opinions, and that's okay.
No, that's called civil society. And I do get the sense that maybe the Daily Wire, which admittedly, Edgar, you know far, far more about than I do, but maybe they have the ability to be civil with one another, which used to be a kind of minimum requirement. We've lost it. You believe something. I honestly, maybe it's because I have a large family, but maybe you have the same experience in your families. There are people who I absolutely love dearly, and I know they are better Christians than I am, who we could not be farther apart politically. We just have to stop this idea that the only good people are people that agree with me politically. That's silly. That's just dumb. That's not the measure of Jesus. Isn't going to be about what you thought. Your judgment, he's already told us, your last judgment is not about the thoughts that you had. Last judgment is about, did you feed the poor? Or I think you're supposed to clothe the poor, feed the hungry. No, clothe the naked. All right, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do for people. I know this is all this coming out right, but visit the imprisoned, care for the sick, bury the dead. These are the things. And we act like these people who do all of those things, but they don't have the right thought about Ronald Reagan, or there's somehow something wrong with them. I don't think Jesus is going to ask you, what do you think of the Reagan Revolution?
That's the problem.
When you get there.
That's the problem with the echo chambers. You sit too long in your echo chamber and you immediately demonize the other side. Have you ever watched those videos on YouTube where people go around different cities and they ask them? So they go to conservative areas and would you ever be friends with a liberal? Yeah, of course, yeah. I'll be friends with the liberal. That's no problem. I have friends who are liberals. And then they go over to New York City, and then they ask people will you ever be friends with a conservative? And I remember there was one lady who responded with, "Oh no, I'll never be friends with a racist." That was the immediate implication. It's whoa, hold on a second. Immediately demonizing the other side because you sit too long in the echo chamber.
But was she demonizing the other side, or did she equate conservatism with racism? I'm not saying she did it fairly, but she just made an intellectual error. She made a mistake. Probably because she lives in New York City, she's never met a conservative.
Partially.
She actually thinks a person who says, I'm conservative, is simultaneously saying, I'm a racist.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying there. I don't know. Emily, save me.
No, that's
Do you know
true.
that's why you're here, to save me?
What'd you say?
Your primary mission here is to save me when I get into these.
Okay, here we go. I'm saving you.
Okay,
So yeah,
thank you.
I think maybe you haven't experienced this, but the people in Gen Z, a lot of them do that where they believe truly that if you support Donald Trump, that you believe black people are inferior and you somehow are racist. And so they equate that Trump supporter with being racist. So it's the same thing. It's synonymous in their mind.
Yeah. And I don't know that all of that is willful demonizing. But I can't figure out exactly what it is. I think some of it is just, but that's what you said. It's the echo chamber. They've heard that, they've heard the equation made so many times. They maybe don't know that the equation is not, that equal sign is in the wrong place. What? You want to talk about something? I know. No, I know. Okay, Emily, let me tell you what goes on behind the scenes here. I'm the host of the show. That's what he said.
I'm the assistant host.
But he's the assistant to the host. But
same thing.
This is him while I'm talking.
See, I'm actually.
Can you
the
see
host.
that? You're the host. Okay. Well,
I'm
then you're gonna
actually
get
the real
you're gonna get
host
the
here.
finger. You're gonna get. But it's this.
Emily?
It's this.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Wrap
he does a
it
good
up,
job because I don't
yappy.
see it.
Yeah, no, he's
this
trying to
side.
do it all sneaky. He made them put me in the two shot with you, and then he sat there going, while I'm talking, move along. Just go on to the next topic if you want.
All right.
You
Well,
you don't have to hurt my feelings. Jeepers creepers.
Can we move on to the React section?
Oh, yes.
All right. So
tell Emily about this.
Emily, we have a segment here called Size Real Reactions. Now it's time. Johnny, hit it for Size Real Reactions. Oh. Where's the video? There it is.
There it is.
All right, and
Oh,
today's
that's so
Wait.
cute.
Wait.
and today's
Emily, no, wait.
Okay.
You hold on. I'm the host. Who? Do you recognize the guy in the picture there?
It looks like you as a Disney animated character.
Dang it. I was hoping you'd go, no, that doesn't look like, I don't know who that is. That's just some random guy. Yeah.
Well, for today's theme
go
of
ahead.
Size Real Reactions, we have Johnny hit it. We have other one, Johnny. Johnny hit the wrong button. All right, give him the
No,
Lord of the
Johnny's doing
buttons.
great. Johnny is doing great.
Solo shot.
You're probably
We're
going to get
improving.
3/4 of your salary for today, Johnny. That's how good this has been. All right, so first of all, I'm sorry I got to do this. Emily, you can see this or no?
Yes.
And you're going to react with me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so
How
today,
not to church.
Today is the theme is how not to church. All
Okay.
right. So we all been to beautiful liturgies that we all like, and we've all been to churches that we're like, wow, this is a great community. You walk into the church, very reverent. Sometimes people go to churches that are not the best, and the pastors tend not to be the best. So here we go. Now you can do the side-by-side shot, Johnny. Here we go.
Wait, that's not
I, Roberta McCoy, giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
hurts.
look at Emily's face. you cut to the wrong camera there, right, Johnny.
I got secondhand embarrassment from that.
Yeah, what's that? Is that a thing? Secondhand embarrassment?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that pastor is very bold. I will give him that.
What a charitable thing to say.
I would guess that church is part of a movement called the Name It and Claim It movement. It's not, in my view, not even Christianity. I think a Baptist is a Christian. I think a Methodist is a Christian. I am not sure that these Name It and Claim It preachers are Christians. I think they're preaching something other than Christianity. And that guy is of the view that the underlying thing here is what is preaching. If I'm right about this, and it's Name It and Claim It Christianity. If she gives that 2,000 in faith, if she steps out in faith and gives that 2,000, God's going to reward her with much, 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 much more. So it's
But I mean,
wait. Let me see if I can think of the vocabulary word. Manipulative. It's just manipulating people to give him more money.
that hurts to watch though, because here she is.
She's giving $1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's only $1,200. It's like, what do you mean it's only $1,200?
I know. I know.
It just it hurts because
Do
there
you know
she
how
is giving,
happy my pastor would be if one day he was going through the basket after mass and was like, "Sigh, what? $1,200? That triples last year's total giving." Like, that would be insane. He'd be so happy if he saw.
You're like, here you go, Father. I need my tax write-off.
Right. Oh, Father, guess what? Today is the 31st. That's, how insane is that?
Yeah.
I don't believe it's Christian. There's things where you go, that's Christian. It's not fully Catholic. It's not the fullness of Christianity, but it's Christian. I mean, a Baptist person is a Christian. That I don't know what that is, but I don't think that's Christianity.
It's greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different gospel. That's the thing is, I don't think that the Baptist preacher is preaching a different gospel. He's preaching the gospel in a way that doesn't fully share what Christ himself gave. The fullness of what Christ gave is in the Catholic Church. This is not a guy preaching a diminished gospel or a partial gospel. This is not the gospel. This is something else. And I wouldn't do that because you're going to face Jesus someday. Don't do that.
Well, along that same vein, let me go ahead and get you the second video here.
Okay.
Because it's along the same vein of what's happening. So here we go, Johnny. Let's go.
This Bentley that I park in the church is not just for me. It's for the church. It's for us. Can we drive it?
No, God wouldn't want that in Jesus' name. This Bentley that I park in the church is not just for me. It's for the church. It's for us.
Can we drive it?
No, God wouldn't want that in Jesus' name.
All right. I believe that necklace thing. I believe I saw that on Princess Di at one point. I'm sorry for that reaction, but I don't know what that guy's up to. But that's like if you're thinking I got to make a quick exit, just put all the money right here. So if you got to run, you've got it with you. No, you can't drive it.
Imagine that, buying a gold Bentley, parking it in the church, and be like, "This is for us to enjoy." He's like, "I'll see you guys later." Then later hopping into that thing.
Yeah. Wow. I'll tell you what. Have you got more?
I have one more, but it's different.
If it's more pastors doing this, I'm gonna be like, oh man.
Well, the theme is how not to church.
Oh yeah, how not to church. Well, yeah.
It's a learning lesson.
It strikes me as the same thing. I'm sorry, it strikes me as the same thing. This idea that a wealthy pastor is a sign of God's blessing. That is. Well, I'm sorry, but this month we celebrate the Feast of St. Francis and the Feast of Teresa of Avila. That's the real gospel. This extremely wealthy pastor. I mean, I think Kenneth Copeland, who's the big name it and claim it star, I think he's not worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I think he's worth $1 billion.
Do you ever watch that video of, I think it was him, who was stopped by a reporter near his jet, and it looks kind of dark. It looks kind of something demonic happening there.
What, really?
I'll have to pull a video of one of these days to show you, but it's kind of scary because just the look on his eye looks just a little off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that, Emily?
No, but I have definitely seen some Protestant pastor videos where they are preaching the prosperity gospel, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Like it's terrifying the way that their eyes are like glossy, and I don't know. I get scary vibes from them too.
Well, yeah, we love our brother and sister Christians, but I'm telling you, if you are in a church that's preaching this gospel of money, and Jesus is a cash machine, you just need to have faith. You are not in a Christian church. Find a Christian church to be in, because you are not in a Christian church. I don't know if the really smart theologians would back me up on that. I'm talking in common sense terms.
I think of that, and I think of Carlo was just in Assisi. He talked about it during his convocation, but the poverty that he was talking about, that St. Francis embraced, the infamous or the famous story of him literally taking all of his clothes off and rejecting all of this world and being embraced by the bishop, kind of covering him up, saying, "I'm giving everything up." Compare that to the prosperity gospel today. I don't know. I kind of want to follow Francis on that one.
Yeah, I think you're safer following Francis than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Francis was a trip, though. Francis stole money from his father.
He did.
Before.
No, actually, it was to rebuild the church, the Portiuncula, right?
Yeah, and I think that the local priest had to be like,
you got to give back.
Francis was a very exuberant person, and sometimes it was like, Francis, wait a minute, you can't just take the money. You're gonna have to.
It goes to show you, though, the desire to literally give everything up. That if you have anything at your disposal, you just give everything up. And I can imagine. See, when I imagine of Saint Francis of Assisi, I don't imagine him as this quiet, simple, humble. Like whenever we picture saints, we're like, oh, they must have been this like calm. Emily? Have you met Eric Tafoya?
I have not.
You know Eric Tafoya,
He's a hurricane. The man is a hurricane.
Yeah, traditional urban Catholic. He was at our conference. The man is on fire. He's zealous, and he will just go off preaching about Jesus. You can be in the middle of a random conversation about literally anything, and he'll just go off talking about Jesus. That's what I imagine. Francis
more like
is
that.
Very much like that.
Very energetic person,
and doesn't care about anything else in the world. He like, you can talk about riches, you can talk about this, just complete and utter rejection of that. It's like, why would I waste my time on those things when I could talk about Jesus? Yeah. That's what I imagine Francis like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. People always talk about that. You go to Assisi and you have this overwhelming sense of peace.
Yeah.
I did not feel that in Assisi. I felt this is a very serious moral, kind of almost like a moral kind of not judgment, but reminder of this life that Christ called us to. Some people have lived it almost perfectly. Like like one that I didn't feel peace at all. I felt very disturbed by it. Like Francis is so far above me. I felt, I don't know. Have Emily you ever been there, Assisi?
I have not, sadly. My fiance was there when we were at the Catholic Answers conference. So
Oh, he was in Assisi and you were at the conference?
yeah.
He chose the better way. No, no.
Unbeatable.
Yeah, he's like Mary. Well, thank you, Martha, for coming to the conference. All right, any more things to react to?
I have one more for you to react to.
Please, if it's another rich pastor, I'm not going to...
It's not a rich pastor.
All right.
It's a rich church.
All right, go
All
ahead.
right, Johnny.
Wait, is that Tommy Lee?
I mean,
Holy
imagine going to
smokes.
church and
That's
see
a Justin Timberlake concert.
Where's his drum kit? Holy smokes.
Imagine going to church and you see that.
I gotta say that as far as worship goes, that has no appeal to me at all. That to me looks like you're filling up an emptiness. Like I don't want to go to a U2 concert.
It's entertainment.
I don't want to go to a YouTube concert to worship. I don't want to go to a U2 concert to go to a U2 concert. like there's oh, do you do, Darren? You want to go to a U2 concert? Oh gosh, there's all this fake liturgy.
Benner would be there taking all the analytics down. You know he would.
I just think that there's this element of show. Like that to me, if that had been David Copperfield coming down to do magic, that would have been perfectly consistent.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looked like I will make the Statue of Liberty disappear or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks to me like, I don't know. Do you know that the part in you guys will have to help me out with this because I am Catholic. The wind and the fire come by, and God's not in them.
I think is it Jeremiah?
Or is that Elijah when he's trying to hear God's voice and he hears like the wind rustling and a big storm or something?
But it's
Is that what you're
silence.
talking
Storm
about?
Yeah.
right. And then it's the silence where God is, and I mean. I one of the things I know people hate this about the Catholic Mass, but I love the silence of it. Like I love the part where nobody's talking and no music is playing. After communion, if there's a priest who has the sense to go, let's just sit here with Jesus for 2 minutes, and then allows people to just be quiet with Jesus, I love that. I think that's great.
I think there really is something about silence and reverence that brings people, especially when you go to a Catholic church and it's very quiet and reverent. So, Emily, are you familiar with the I think he's a YouTuber. His name is Niza Powers.
Yes.
He's detransitioning.
Wait,
and he's
why'd you ask her? And you don't even ask me if I know.
do you know who Niza Powers is?
I have no clue who that is, but you didn't ask is the important thing.
So he's detransitioning. I'm sorry. He's detransitioning, and he's going to church, and he's kind of making waves because he's discovering Catholicism, and he goes through OCIA classes. He just posted a new video of him going to a traditional Latin Mass, and all the standing and kneeling, and he's kind of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but he sees the beauty and the sacredness behind it, and he's like, he's overwhelmed by it, and it's really cool to see because it's attractive not just to somebody who's familiar with it, but to somebody who's unfamiliar with it. That you can see God's voice and hear when you sit in that silence.
Right. I have to say that's why I'm not always thrilled when people are like, our priest never preaches about, and they name certain political things and all that. I sometimes feel like, really? Is that what you want Father to do? Like, there's the Word of God being preached, and now he has an opportunity to relate the Word of God in a way that would be helpful to everybody, and you want him to preach about a political thing? I don't think that that's quite right. I don't think that that's. I sometimes think that I don't know. Politics is our god now. I mean, look what it did to Matt Fradd. Oh, sorry. Only joking. It's just a joke. Yeah. So that was crazy, man. Can you imagine going to mass and like we don't even have the Pope doing that. I mean, we have a Pope, but we don't have that kind of stuff.
We don't. He does have a white horse now.
Did
you see that?
My dream is that he
I did
rides that
not.
white horse out instead of the Pope Mobile for his Wednesday audience. If he just comes out and he doesn't have to like gallop around, just have somebody lead him on the white. I'll be like, take me now, Lord. I have seen what I needed to see. That will make me so happy if he did that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how kids would relate to him then?
That
The
would-
Pope on a white horse?
I mean, you've won at that point.
The whole universe has won at that point. That's like the best thing. That will make the news. Guarantee you that will make the news.
The Pope on a white horse.
Pope on a horse, yeah. Like just ride around in that little go-kart thing that he rides around in. Boring. A horse? You give me a white horse? Is that the Pope or is that Gandalf? I don't know. Let's wait till he gets closer.
Check if there's a beard, and then you'll know whether it's Gandalf or not. Yeah.
What do you think? Should we have Emily come back?
I like Emily. Yeah. Hey, how about you just do this in person at some point?
Could you
Yeah,
come be
I
in
mean,
with
I'll
us?
be available next week.
We literally don't have enough cameras in here for her to do it in person.
We'll set it
Like,
up.
how are we going to do that?
We'll set it up. We'll set up the other camera.
I'll sit in between you two. It'll just be, you know.
Both of us look
close
down like,
quarters.
do you know how bad of a mess there is down there? like we like you, Emily, but we don't want to clean that up.
You know how much unsweetened tea Cy drinks now?
Oh, is that? Wow.
Unsweet tea,
That's
that's what I drink
crazy.
now. Yeah. I say we have Emily back.
I say
I like
that too.
having her here.
I second
like
that
having her
motion.
here. I think we need to work on the camera thing though, because like right now, I don't think she's in the shot. And then when they put her in the shot, I don't think they can put her in they got the 2 shot of us. But is there any way, Johnny, you can put her? No, see, it's with just me. Well, it would be good if we could have.
You can do the 3 shot with the orange background. It just doesn't look as good.
Oh, we could? He could?
You know what I'm talking about, Johnny?
We're doing the camera, and he just gave you 2 thumbs up, but he's not doing it. But he gave you
should
2
do it.
thumbs up. Yeah. Because like right now, we can.
you
Look at that! That would be.
I have no idea how that looks.
Oh, you
Oh, you
can't.
gotta-
Can't
you're
see
not.
anything
You're not.
on
What?
my
You
end.
gotta
I
give
just
it a
see
live
you
shot.
two.
Oh.
Oh, I see it now.
Did somebody send it? Oh, that because he's choosing what gets sent back to your video.
That's the behind the scenes look here. We just tell Johnny what to put up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Come on.
Now I'm doing to you what you were doing to me. Come on, wrap it up, Edgar. Can you like you're trying to talk? You're trying to finish your point. Someone's going, move it along. her hand blurred out. I think Teams thought that she was doing something like bad. So do it. Go ahead. See if it blurs out. Yeah.
See, I'm trying to do the
This is
subtlety.
riveting YouTube
The
content, by
subtlety
the
like
way.
Edgar.
Riveting YouTube content. Can people find you? Or, like they just go to your YouTube channel, Emily Torres.
They can just Google me, Catholic converts. Hopefully, I come up.
Yeah. Well, are you the only Catholic convert on earth? You just thought that's what
Yeah.
I'll go by. There's probably 100 other million people that have that same thing, but I'm gonna make it
There-
mine. I'm gonna own
There
it.
are too many Emily Torreses. It does, like
Wait, do you think
can't
there's
ever
more
just
Emily
have my
Torreses
name.
or Catholic converts? Which do you think there's more of on the earth? Let's get the Pew people on this. We need to do some kind of
Do
research.
research. Well, I want to quickly give a shout out to all of our listeners on YouTube. If you guys want to do that, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
All right,
okay.
all right.
I feel bad because I was supposed to do that.
It's okay. I never interrupted you. So
Sorry.
no problem. We have Xenia saying that she sacred silence is on point. Well, I added the on point part, but she just had sacred silence. Let's see who else. Do we
Nice
have?
job, Xenia.
Deborah says, "I'm very appreciative of that silence for a moment after Holy Communion."
Yeah, me too. I don't think they do it in that church though. The church.
The question is, do they have Holy Communion?
No,
That's
I mean,
the real
they
question.
probably don't do that either. But like, is there any time for people? I met a Protestant lady one time who was listening to Catholic radio, and I always had a question in my mind: the Rosary and the Mass on the radio, is it good, or should we just try to do talk radio content? You know? And she said to me, she was listening to the radio, and the Rosary came on. She goes, I didn't know people prayed like that. She was stunned by how beautiful it was, because it was just peaceful and prayerful, and like you were talking to the people in heaven, including Jesus and the Father and all that. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it, which changed it maybe kind of solidified my view that, yeah, we should have the Rosary on Catholic radio. Because many people have no experience of prayer like that.
Yeah.
They've only had the rock show.
Yeah. I think the prayer that really attracted me to the Divine Mercy Chaplet they used to on Immaculate Heart Radio, when Immaculate Heart Radio was still on, they would chant the I think they would chant the Divine Mercy Chaplet
At 3 in the afternoon.
I think so. Or
Yes, I remember that. I know what you. Yeah.
yeah.
right.
So there were times when they would chant those prayers, and to me that's what drew me into actually wanting to pray those, and couldn't chant, but then I started praying them on my own. So
Yeah.
All right, we have about 5 minutes
Wait,
before.
that's it from the social media.
Tyler Rudder gave us $2 for a super chat. He says, "What's up, beautiful people?"
That's
Aw,
for you,
thanks.
Emily. It's not me and Edgar. That's not who he's talking to. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you very much for the $2. Emily, that's going in your paycheck. That will be.
Awesome.
That will be in that section for other on your paycheck. Not really, Tyler. We're going to put it to good use. We're going to build a new studio.
With those $2, absolutely. All right. If anybody wants to join that
It's
fund,
a start.
it is a start.
We are going to have to build a new studio too.
Actually, there's this place needs a little bit of a renovation. So, yeah. All right. Are you gonna
Nothing
do-
else from?
I mean, as of right now, that's all we have. I mean, there's a bunch of callers.
Can I leave you to chat with Emily for a while then?
Yeah,
I want
can-
to see how
I
the
can
two
do
of you
that.
do without me here.
Okay,
I
Emily.
want to see how that goes.
Yeah, Emily, I have a
Wow.
question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have hope for young people in the Catholic faith, especially in the online world? What do you see the future of that looking like? I mean, there's a lot of content creators that are starting to pop up. A lot of Catholic content creators. I remember when I started back in 2022 here at Catholic Answers, I started looking for new and younger faces to try to get on Catholic Answers. Very hard to find. Very hard to find. There were a few and far between. A few of them, but there seems to be a giant resurgence of that in the Catholic faith. What do you see as the future of Catholic media and reaching out to the youth?
Yeah, that's great. I would say I agree with you. There certainly has been an uptick in Catholic presence on social media. I think when people see Christians on social media, they typically see people that attend the churches that you showed us in those videos earlier. So they kind of associate that with Christianity. But I think it's going to be great for us because people are realizing there's more to Christianity than just rock concerts and pastors that ask for money or deny science. And I think we're going to continue to see an uptick of people being more vocal about their Catholic faith or exploring it. And you mentioned Niza earlier. I think he's the perfect example of somebody who hasn't been too dampened with media against Catholics and just negative commentary about what we believe and biases, and he's come to he seems to be believing in the Catholic faith more and more each day and continuing through OCIA, and he finds something truly beautiful in it. And I think that's what a lot of our generation is missing. It's missing beauty. I think that honestly wraps back up to our MTV conversation in the beginning of people, their souls are being drained from the things that they're consuming on media online. It's like if you are only going off of your sensuality or pleasure of the lower appetite to fulfill you, it's never going to be enough, and you're going to be left feeling increasingly more empty, and that leads to despair. So I think people are seeking something beautiful, and there are people finding it, and I think that's a really wonderful thing. So my prayer is that Catholics continue to find the boldness to speak up about their faith, and Protestants continue to give us more of a chance to hear us out and have us kind of unravel the predispositions and biases that they've learned, whether it's through their family or their church or even themselves, if they're an ex-Catholic, that was raised going to Catholic grade school or something.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, Emily, thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you on, and we'll see you here next week then.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edgar. Excited to see you guys.
Likewise. Thanks. All right. For my fellow streamers out there, keep on hanging on. We're going to have 2 hours of Dr. Carlo Broussard on. So hang on, and we'll start in about 30 seconds. Johnny, roll to the B-roll footage.